half millennia ago in ancient Greece lived a generation of superheroes. There was Perseus, who had winged sandals and a helmet that could turn him invisible. There was Bellerophon, who rode about on a winged horse and fought a monster that breathed fire and had 3 heads of 3 different animals. And then there was his cousin Melampus, who could understand the language of animals. That's who we're going to talk about today, Melampus. Now, some would say he was the first shaman, or the first prophet, or the first doctor, or the first quack, or the first one to introduce the worship of Dionysus to Greece. In any case, he was an early doctor, and he was very rich, and he had a servant who was digging a ditch, and there was a snake in the way. He killed the snake. It turned out to be a mother snake. She had 2 little babies. The servant would have killed the babies, but Melampus stopped him. Melampus loved animals. He took the snakes inside. He took the little baby snakes inside. He raised them as if they were his own. He went down to the 7-Eleven every day and got them snake milk. And they grew strong. And when they were just about old enough to leave him and seek their fortune, they crawled into his ears while he was asleep, and they licked his ears so clean that he could understand the language of animals. And one of them said to him, "Well, Melampus, we've licked your ears so clean that you can now understand the language of animals. Maybe this will help in your doctor business." And off they slithered to seek their fortunes. Well, in Melampus's day, as I said, he was a very early doctor, and they didn't have all the medical technology that we have today. And they didn't know about keeping things clean, so pigs were kept in a very unsanitary position, and people started getting this swine flu. I would never happen today because we have such sanitary conditions, but the people were getting swine flu, and it was passed around. And some people were dying of it. Now, Melampus, of course, he used the top medical advice of his day, which was don't wash up, avoid drinking anything, and stay up late at night. Unfortunately, some of his patients were dying. In fact, a lot of his patients were dying, and he got in trouble, and he was taken to the county jail and thrown in jail, and where he would have rotted, except that as he was leaning back against the wall, he heard some termites from the wrecking crew talking, saying, "Hey, the boys over in Sector C have just about got that main pillar that holds up the whole county building. They've just about got that gnawed through. Everybody in the jail, everybody that works here, they're all going to die, and we're all going to feast. We've invited our relatives to come from miles around because there's going to be enough wood here to feed every termite between Greece and Egypt." And when Melampus heard this, he jumped up and he said, "Oh, wait a minute, hey, everybody, guard, help. The jail's about to collapse. There's termites in there. They're over in Sector C." And the guard says, "Oh, I never heard of Sector C." But Melampus made such a fuss that he convinced them that the jail was going to fall down if they didn't evacuate it. They evacuated the jail and the county building, and sure enough, it collapsed. And so Melampus was seen as a hero. He became a famous doctor, and everybody started going to Melampus, even though, most of his patients had died. And but he had saved everybody from the jail collapse. So he was getting to be pretty famous, and so a king from far away sent for him because his daughters had this mad cow disease. See, they thought they were cows. They were running around like this, eating grass, saying, "Moo! We are cows!" and sneaking up on people. "Moo!" Yeah, it was a general embarrassment to the king. Well, Melampus made a deal with the king. "If you'll let me marry one of your daughters and have a third of your kingdom, let my brother marry another one of your daughters and let him have a third of your kingdom, and that third, I don't care about the third daughter so much. But if you'll do that, then I'll gladly cure them." And the king says, "Well, look, if you cure them, then I'll pay you what you ask for." So Melampus goes and he sits down next to a tree, and as luck would have it, every time that he'd sit down and lean back, something cool would happen. Animals would be talking about how to cure the situation he was in. That's what happened this time. There were two birds sitting up in the tree, blackbirds, I think. You know something about that, Rachel? These birds that were sitting in the tree, that was the medical knowledge, that happened to be discussing the recipe for making the cure.
Oh, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Heckle, right?
I think that was them. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde were sitting there, and one of them says to the other, well, you know what I would do if I had to cure the, he said, well, how do you know? He said, well, I was here when the disease started. You see, what happened was the king had a bloody knife from a sacrifice. His little son saw it and screamed. The king just discarded the knife, just threw it to go comfort his son, but the bloody knife stuck in the tree. It's still, to this day, hurting the nymph of the tree. So the only way to cure that would be to dig that rusty knife out, scrape the rust off of it, make a soup, put some olive oil and some bay leaves and stuff in it, and feed that to those girls in their feed trough over there. And I think that would cure them. And so Melampus heard this. He dug the knife out. He made up the soup with the olive oil and the bay leaves in it, and he poured it in the feed trough. And the girls came and ate it. And 2 of them were cured. The 3rd one ran off. We don't really know what happened to her. But Melampus and his brother each married one of the girls. They each got 1/3 of the kingdom. And so you know, it pays off to pay attention to what animals are saying.
It's nature's way of telling you something's wrong.